computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at
it. Hello, and welcome to episode 112 of Life Through Autism with your host, Rob Tierney. In this podcast, we may look at articles regarding LGBTQIA+, disability or pop culture. In this episode, we're going to look at disability and nature in an article from abc.net.au entitled The Joys and Challenges of Connecting to Nature as a Person with a Disability, written by Eli Sutherland, dated November 24th, 2025. Before I became disabled at 16 years old, I took a lot of things for granted, like existing in a pain-free body, running to get the bus and trekking on uneven hiking trails. Growing up in WA, my family used to go on frequent trips to walk sections of the Biblubblum track, a 1,000 kilometre trail stretching from Kalamunda in the Perth Hills on Wajjuk Noongar Budja all the way to Kinjarling, Albany on Menangan country. My favourite part was always the Gloucestershire tree with spiral rings circulating its gigantic trunk, allowing people to climb 61 metres to a platform at its top. I haven't hiked the entire track yet, though I hope one day soon. I'm lucky that with my disabilities, a lot of trails are still accessible to me with enough training, forward planning and 0 days built in. But the Bibbulum isn't accessible for a lot of my disabled friends. The official Bibbulum track website outlines accessibility in this paragraph. Due to the nature of the facility, the track is not widely used by people with physical disabilities. However, the track between the Brookton Highway and Brookton campsite is designed to be wheelchair and pram accessible. Additionally, the campsite has wheelchair access, an accessible shelter and accessible toilet. I reached out to the Bibbulum track to ask if they have any solutions currently in place to support disabled people's access of the trail, or whether there are plans to improve accessibility of other sections, but had not received a response by the time of publication. I've done a lot of solo hiking over the years, but it makes me sad to know I won't be able to hike the length of the Bibbulum with some of my favourite people, or potentially at all as the years fly by, depending on how my physical disability progresses. Being disabled in nature. Data reports that 11.8% of Australian adults with disability go for a bushwalk at least once a year, compared to 18.5% of people without disability. Additionally, 550,000 people report disability as a barrier to participating in sport and recreation annually. Getting out into nature has been one of the key protective factors for my mental health and well-being over the years, though what that looks like has changed significantly. Since my teens, less fearlessly flinging my body in the unknown and more deciphering new methods of managing pain. When I hiked the Larapinta Trail in 2019, it was filled with millions of rocks, dozens of cliff bars and innumerable stretch breaks. I'd stop beside every boulder or signpost to perch a leg on, trying to reduce the pressure on my lower back. Connection to country, animals, ourselves and each other is strengthened when we leave behind built environments and foray into natural spaces. I'm not exaggerating when I say that getting out into nature has saved my life numerous times. The outdoors helped Claudia Stevenson get through school and the years beyond as well. Stevenson is president of Achilles Melbourne, a non-profit that coordinates regular running training sessions for people with disabilities, particularly vision impairments. Though Stevenson isn't a runner, they've always been active, first with scouts, then hiking, and now trail running and paddling too. They say they've always been passionate about accessible sports. Assumptions about disability that play themselves out in every other aspect of our lives are also there in recreation, Stevenson said. Stevenson recounts a time they and a sighted friend joined a mainstream hiking tour for a day hike, paying tour fees and driving the couple of hours together out to the trail. I was completely underestimated by the tour guide, Stevenson said. The first thing she told me was, "This is going to be a problem. You're going too slow, everyone else slow down." But after I had a few words with her, then blazed everyone on the trail. She ate her words and apologised. Stories like Stevenson's are unfortunately common in mainstream spaces, and this is where specialist providers and ally mainstream providers really shine, when organisations get it right. Achilles Melbourne, in addition to their regular run clubs, also organise hiking and trail running adventures in partnership with Trailbus. The bus solves one of the major issues many disabled people have in accessing nature: transport. Trailbus doesn't just drive people out and back, they also craft bespoke tours that take into account the different abilities and goals of the people involved. There are options for both walkers and runners, with different routes and challenge levels available for folks in the group to choose from. The organisers of Trailbus tours are great at calculating and mitigating risks without wrapping us in cotton wool, Stevenson said. Achilles' ex-Trailbus tours seem to have found that sweet spot between making things challenging without being impossible. Stevenson recollected a day trip they went on recently where the tour was so accessible their sighted guide didn't have to be with them the entire time. Being able to be alone in the bush was amazing, Stevenson said. So much of the time I rely on my hearing and other senses to get around. Just having silence and independence in that way was incredible. Does living in a regional area make it easy to access the outdoors? Writer, parent and disability activist Jasper Peach has also relied on nature a lot over the years. They moved into their current home in Castlemine on Jar Jar Warring country during lockdown in mid-2021 and soon found the perfect trail for their daily walks. Traversing the same route day in and day out helped Peach attune to their disabled body through repetitive witnessing of natural cycles of bloom and decay. Now this is going to sound morbid, they said, but I really connected with a squashed frog on the side of the road. No one came to clean up the dead frog, but they didn't need to. Its body slowly disintegrated back into the earth. Things change. Our bodies change. It was sad and magical all at once. Castlemaine is a regional area about 120 kilometres northwest of Narrum, Melbourne, full of heritage-listed sites and stunning hiking trails, but not many of them are accessible. Due to Peach's disabilities, their daily dirt track trail was one of the few nature walks in Castlemaine they could actually access. But since a recent fall, Peach hasn't even been able to walk that trail because it's not flat. There's a lot the council needs to do to improve accessibility around here, Peach said. But because it's largely a heritage area, and it seems like the priority is aesthetics, things like uneven trail paths and curb cuts haven't been updated. Mount Alexander Shire Council has information about accessible services and features of the area on their website, including an access map of central Castlemaine. So how do we make the outdoors more accessible for disabled people? Disabled people are used to navigating spaces that aren't designed for us and making the best of less than ideal situations. We still want to feel the sand between our toes, hear the sulphur-crested cockatoos screeching up a storm at dusk and see winds swaying the karri tree branches. So we make extensive plans and get out bush. It takes a lot of mental and emotional labour to arrange outdoors adventures and can be particularly disappointing if all that labour goes to waste because a hiking trail is unexpectedly inaccessible. That's why it's so refreshing to see organisations like Outdoors Victoria and Outdoors WA showcase disability-friendly activities, and even large mainstream organisations like Melbourne Marathon have taken strides to improve the accessibility of the events. Disabled people deserve to be able to access the benefits of nature, outdoor spaces and physical recreation, just like everyone else. Consider the person, not the disability, Stevenson said, when asked what they would tell mainstream organisations wanting to be more accessible. And don't underestimate people. Are you a person with a disability? Do you love to connect with nature? Where are your favourite places just to be? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let's have a conversation. Till next time, take care and bye for now.